Evening, everybody. It's Wednesday night. It's 9:05. Welcome in from the Sanford and Son Marathon here on the Superstation. But it's time for What's on Joe Mind. How's everybody doing?
Woo!
We're a fan cast about the world of G.I. Joe. Josiah Alcorn getting us off early. We were actually laughing about this right before I hit the button. Ooh, it's going to be a Phil Donnelly night. And then right after that, Doug Dello, I know I'm disappointed. and fine, we know that we're taking Doug out of context on that one, but it's still out. Cool. It's still outstanding.
Yeah.
It made us laugh quite a bit.
Sure. It made me laugh. It's fine.
That kind of reminds me of that one email I got.
Jim Smith notes that it's hump day. Yeah.
Mike.
We used to that used to be a bit of a running gag on the old program years and years ago.
Oh yeah, I remember.
You may be the only one that does. We tend to cotton more to the new folks.
Yeah.
It's like you and Torpedo Mike, Rob. That's all that's left.
Bury the past.
I can't remember the past. Doug Gillis is sorry, Phil, but apparently we caught him red-handed.
The damage is done.
Andrew Galgan notes that if there's no tornado during this stream, he's going to another tornado stream. And honestly, sir, I wouldn't blame you, because there's no way we can match that adrenaline spike from 2 weeks ago.
Eat your heart out, Jim Cantor.
Check and mate.
Is Zorro?
It is Zorro's horse.
Guys.
He's the king of Spain.
No, king of England.
Is he? I don't know.
Yeah. King Arthur declared him king of England.
It's a Simpsons bit. What can I was too busy laughing at it to remember it. But Doug Dello spent a lot of time listening to all those back episodes. Sorry. Learning about all the Joe conventions I missed. Well, no, I mean, I'm not sorry. We had a lot of fun doing those. They were very informative. It was back when we were popular, so we must have been doing something right. But speaking of popularity, if you are watching us on the Facebook tonight, be sure to give us some kind of a reaction. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a heart. Give us a little huggy guy. We love little huggy guy. We really do. We truly do. There's already been a couple of little huggy guys left. Thank you, Josh and Andrew Garrison, for little huggy guys. If you're catching us on the YouTubes, our home, if you will, be sure to visit those buttons that are down the middle of the box there, and like and subscribe to the video and the channel respectively. But mostly just to thank you so much for tuning in and joining us, because really just being here and watching is really the most help you can do. But really, I mean, those buttons, they're quick and they're free. Nobody charges you for those. And since you're here, you know, YouTube's never going to not recommend us to you again. You might as well just subscribe. It's not going to give you any more notifications.
What are we laughing at?
That doesn't matter. The Gunny notes that you get paid once a month. Federal retired people have a hump week, not hump days. And that's living the dream, Gunny. That's what that is. Retirement? What is that? I'm never going to get to retire.
Well, you kidding? The way things are going, the Gunny's going to be lucky if he doesn't have to jump back into the workforce.
Right. Yeah, the way things are going, we'll all be working manual labor jobs into our early 60s, and we'll fall over dead.
Ah, the American dream.
Just start brushing up on your recipes for Soylent Green now.
Right. Enough gloom and doom. We got to talk about pre-orders. Wait, that's not going to help. That's not going to help at all. That's not going to help at all. Gunny's got an actual skill. He can go back to baking. There you go. You can go back to baking, sir. You're really good at it. And King notes that all these pre-orders are going to stomp a mud hole in his bank account like all the Black Series did this week. That's your fault, man. Star Wars, what's up with that? They still make those?
Apparently, it's quite popular in some circles.
Phil, are we having a Star War?
Not
Sure.
yet.
Right, next week.
Yeah, not yet. Give us time.
But, speaking of this week, happy WrestleMania week to all who observe. We know what you'll be doing Saturday and Sunday, which means you'll be doing what I'm doing and forcing Ragtime Rob to do, watching a lot of wrestling.
Making outdated Hulk Hogan jokes.
There's no such thing as an outdated Hulk Hogan joke. There's always a good time and a good reason to take down Hulk Hogan.
Take him down a peg. A whole peg.
But
Thunder in Paradise.
all right.
We'd like the star of Thunder in Paradise to appear, please. No, not that one. Chris Lemon.
Chris Lemon?
We can't
Carol Alt? Anyways. What do you say we quit wasting people's time and get to the news? At some point, everybody's going to learn that when I say, let's get to the news, I hit the button immediately. So I'm not waiting for a joke to come out. It's not. It's a reflex, and we just go right into it. So you have a joke, you got to hold it for that 5 seconds of news bumper. So let's try it again. Let's quit wasting people's time and get to the news.
Yeah, the moment's passed.
Good night, everybody. Anyway. Oh God, we're off to a ripping start, aren't we? Positively,
some kind of
positively start. Ripping.
3 days back from spring break, my mind is already tapioca pudding.
Yeah, it's.
You got a spring break.
That's what happens when you're slovenly and you teach.
Yeah.
Rob only took the job so he could get summers off.
Yeah.
That's it.
Quality shiftless layabout time.
I mean, that it is. All joking aside, it's you can't not be a little jealous of that as a non-teacher. But no, I couldn't do the other 10.5 months of the year to lead up to that, because I'd have strangled somebody's kid, and then I'd just go away for a long time. No more podcasting, no more summer vacations. It's just maybe get an hour in the yard every day.
Yeah, but free room and board.
It's true. I wouldn't have to worry about too much about expenses, but
just remember the one rule, Mike.
What's that?
Shank or be shanked. There's 2 rules.
That's enough out of you, Phil. What was your rule, Rob?
Said shank or be shanked.
All right. That's the real rule.
Yeah.
Fine. Take the book smart answer.
Some Scruffy the janitor, baby.
Scruffy.
First news item.
Doot.
All right, you're not gonna challenge Rob for doot supremacy, Phil?
I am confident in my doot ability. I don't need to be flaunting it for the masses.
Anyways, as we first heard a couple of weeks ago, we had some pre-orders that came up yesterday. And yesterday, for posterity's sake, was April 15. It was tax day.
Ooh, so I know I forgot something.
Yeah, with the promise of... That's all right, Rob. Everybody at the IRS got fired. So
yeah.
They're running on dreams and a prayer.
You got nothing to worry about. But the April 15th, April 20th, October, they don't care. So long as it gets there. Eventually, maybe.
Money's just going into a PayPal account in Quantico.
With the promise of future tax returns, we had some pre-orders for G.I. Joe Classified. Let's take a look at those. First up is what Lenny described as the zhuzhed up Major Bludd. Not a bad inclusion considering he was kind of hard to find the first time around. Major Bludd showed up early in the line. He was a Target exclusive, which is even back then was the kiss of death for a lot of folks. So making an available release Bludd, general release Bludd rather, is not a terrible thing. And you can see there he's basically the same. I think there's a few parts that are different. There's some red detailing on him. I passed. I was lucky enough to get him the first time around. Honestly, it's a great figure, so I didn't feel the need to get it a second time though. Phil, were you in on this one?
No, this one I passed on also. Same reason. I got the first one. I think it's honestly better. I'm not a big fan of the red accents, and the pinless joints are nice, but not enough for $25 of a figure that's 80% looking the same.
I forget about the pinless. Honestly, I never really paid attention to pinless or not pinless. I mean, it's
from the front, it's fine.
Yeah, because it's one of those things that somebody's always got to point out to me because I'm trained to not care about what joints look like. Racktime Rob, your thoughts on repaint Major Bludd here?
Yeah, again, for the same reason that you guys passed on it, I passed on it myself. But it's still a good looking figure, and really, if Hasbro wants to save a couple bucks in these times when prices may go up, maybe they forestall all this by one figure in every wave is a reissue of an earlier figure to get collectors a chance to get them. Without paying nasty secondary market prices.
Yes.
I'm not mad at them for it. I didn't buy it. I got them.
Right. There, you would think with some of the vitriol that's out there that folks are just that upset that there's a figure they can actually pass on because it interrupts that voice in their head that says they have to buy every single thing in triplicate. One to open, one to keep in the package, and one just in case. Just in case of what? Just in case.
In case a dog gets to it.
Falcone says IRS was 6 months late giving him a refund a few years ago, and they paid him interest and then taxed him on the interest. That sounds like the IRS.
Yeah.
That's
still came out a cool 2 pennies ahead.
Right. But Wreckship85 wants to thank Phil for not keeping his doot to himself during this stream. Yeah.
He's also got a great comment now.
And Bill Lionaire, I like that, says that those 12-inch Joes behind Phil are unstoppable. They appear to be stopped by the end of the shelf, but your collection has a fan, Phil.
Well, I appreciate it. At least 3 of them are, not retail.
Be sure to leave a comment down below in the Big Boy comments on how much credibility that collection gives Phil as a toy podcaster.
A toy podcaster with toys? Who knew?
It just seems like everybody's got it in front of their bookcase. Anyway, it's kind of its own. It's kind of its own thing. I mean, I got a wall back there, but it's mostly because it's the one place I've got to do this sort of thing.
You just wanted to show off your blinds.
Just wanted to show off the patio,
the vertical blinds and the patio.
Fancy, no Venetian blinds for him.
It's getting warm out there. I might have to open up the picnic table. Yeah. Anyways. So we are the What's on Joe Mindcast is 0 for 3 on Major Bludd. But again,
we were already 3 for 3 on Major Bludd.
Right, exactly. We appreciate that he's there for the folks that weren't so fortunate. We also, as part of this next wave of pre-orders, we got to see the armored Cobra Commander. Now, this guy I was definitely in on because, frankly, I love him. I don't know why I love him, but I think part of it was that the comic book really sold me on the 87 Joes. it was a really good run back in the Marvel books there with Armored Cobra Commander and Raptor taking the lead for a while. And he comes with, you can see he's got his gun, he's got his backpack. We got some hand options. We've got a human eye head, and we've got a Cobra Claw eye head, like you saw in the Deke cartoon. And then we've also got his Serpentor iguana, like we saw in the Deke cartoon in Operation Dragonfire. And that's not a Serpentor. That's not an iguana named Serpentor. It's Serpentor after he gets the same treatment that they gave Cobra Commander in the movie. Now, why Serpentor became an iguana and not a snake,
it was probably because he was getting cloned anyway. So
I guess
all that DNA slicing and dicing, it messed up some things.
And you just think for poetic license sake, they would just make him instead of a gold snake, he'd be a green snake or something. I don't know.
Little known fact: after that happened, Serpentor was able to find work as Jub Jub on The Simpsons.
Oh, Jub Jub. He then died from secondhand smoke.
Yeah. Dave McDonald asks, is it wrong to wish Cobra Commander be Chrome? No, I don't think it's terribly functional, though. But if you like chromed out guys, this would be a dude to have it. And so I can see how that would be disappointing. That I would call that aesthetic preference. It's not one that I necessarily share, because this is Cobra Commander in his armor. He's built to be out in the field with the troops, getting dirty. So chrome doesn't necessarily fit that for me. But anyways, Firefly here to help us out, because who wants to watch the Deke cartoons again to get that straight? Serpentor was crossed with Naugahyde's iguana in Deke, so there you go. That's why he's an iguana. I watched the Deke run once, maybe about 10 years ago.
When the Shout Factory DVDs came out?
Yes. And I got through season 1, and it ranged from kind of bad to okay. There were some decent episodes in there. And then season 2 rolled around, and I could not make it all the way through.
There is a noticeable drop in quality in season 2. Yes.
Like there's a drop from Sunbow to Deke, there's a huge drop. And then from season 1 of Deke to season 2 of Deke, there's perhaps an even steeper drop. Whoa. So there are 3 or 4 episodes at the end of the run that I never found the strength to watch.
I think I only made it through 1 disc of the 2nd season. So you got further than I did.
Look, I'm tough where TV and movies are concerned. I sometimes will hunt down deliberately terrible TV and movies to entertain myself, and I could not make it. I could not make it. Whoa. Anyways, Wreckship85 asked, did I at least get to the episodes where Falcon becomes a drug addict? Yes, I did. They're at a season 2 that they're the highlight. They're not good, but they're better than anything else in season 2.
And then you have Shockwave looking like a horrible nightmare when his face mask is down and you only see his shadowy face and eyes coming through.
Right.
What was up with that design decision?
Oh, there were many decisions that were questionable on the old Deke cartoons, Phil. Not to bring anybody who grew up on those down. They're a good chunk of our audience, I'm sure, was tuned into the USA Cartoon Express and taking those in every week. Yeah, you being one of them because you're young.
Yep.
With your cursed youth.
They just mixed them in with Sunbow. We couldn't tell back then.
Oh no, I could tell.
You didn't know what you were getting.
I could tell.
We didn't have no fancy TV guide to let us know.
I could tell. Josiah Alcorn asking, never saw the Deke series. Was it worse than the computer graphic thing with Link Talbot?
Yeah.
Second season was definitely. The first season, I would give the edge to Deke. The second season, I would give the edge to computer graphic thing with Link Talbot.
Valor versus Venom.
I'm trying to use his terms, Phil. I'm trying to be accessible to our audience, Phil.
And
to our fans, to our coffee contributor, Josiah Alcorn.
Valor versus Venom worked built to rule into the narrative. That alone gives it a spot in my heart.
Yeah, it's probably been longer since I've seen those, so because I know I have all of those, and I remember I watched them when they came out, and I don't think I've seen them since. I think the last time I saw
definitely haven't seen them since.
Yeah, the last there was at JoeCon when they were showing them before a panel, and I was sitting with Fred Meyer, and basically it's the one with High Tech. That was Valor versus Venom too, wasn't it?
Might have also been Spy Troops.
All right, so that was Spy Troops, and Duke is talking real big. Well, thankfully High Tech has really souped up the Patriot Grizzly to stop anything.
Spy Troops.
Anything that Cobra throws at us. And then there's this pause, and Fred just times it perfectly, just throws a creaky voiced teen right in there. Oh my god, the whole room broke. Anyway. So foregone conclusion, Phil, since you're a Deke baby, you're in on this Cobra Commander, right?
Yeah, but I'm in on it because of the comics. So I'm wishing it came with an alternate red head unhelmeted face, but I can probably snag one of those from Marvel Legends somewhere.
Crossbreeding his line. So Phil's in because of the Deke cartoons. Rob, what do you think?
Yeah, this one I ordered. Yeah, I like it because of the comics as well.
So one vote for Deke, one vote for comics.
Yeah.
I'm in because of the comics too. So Phil clearly is wrong.
Wow. Slander, sir. Slander.
Character assassination of the highest degree. But no, I do. I love that era of the comics. I loved Raptor in the comics. He was so off.
I love how Larry Hama was told by Hasbro that he had to kill off Cobra Commander, while at the same time a new Cobra Commander action figure came out.
He found a way, man.
He did it. So, and then when the coast is clear, brought him right on back. Because it's comics and nobody stays dead.
That's right, except for Doc.
Look, if Doc made it back, I just wouldn't bat an eye.
With a new cybernetic arm.
No, there's already cybernetic arm. There's already a cybernetic leg. Like Doc will have a cybernetic back. I don't know. Cybernetic abs.
Forehead.
Right. Cybernetic forehead.
Cybernetic cuticles. Doc, I'm sorry, we had to replace your cuticles.
Oh no, they do have to replace Doc's forehead. So
yeah,
that's the cybernetic part.
There's a metal plate in your head, Doc. It's all metal.
That metal plate is your head, Doc. But that way, if it's the 90s, then they can just mount a missile on it.
That's right, baby. Reusing Mace's helmet.
Oh my god. Helmet gun. Yeah.
Oh.
You can only do that trick once.
Firefly. Cybernetic abs. So Doc became the boss guy in Cops. Yeah, I guess. We've seen worse.
With even bigger shoulder pads.
He became BP vest.
Right. Josiah Alcorn on the board as a fan of Valor versus Venom. We got great figures out of it too. I liked some of those. There were some good designs happening at that point. My problem with the figures of that era is more the figure construction was wonky. They were clearly not working with a standard buck. So you had some really good figures that came out during that time. and some really well-designed figures that looked kind of weird. And then there were some other ones that were just nuts.
Night Creeper. Sorry.
Yeah.
Something in my throat.
Similarly, yesterday we were able to place our orders for Monkeywrench. And I dig Monkeywrench. They're here again. There's all kinds of vitriol online about Monkeywrench, and I don't understand it. We got all kinds of options here. He's got his harpoon gun. He's got some axes. That's new. We got some hand options. We got this weird face mask thing where, if that's what you want to do, if you want to have him put some protection on his head in battle, it's there for you. We got the kerchief that they showed. You can pull it up over his face, and Monkeywrench can go Wild West style. But this is a real serviceable figure. I mean, I don't think he's at the end of the day, he's not going to be one of my favorites, but he's always going to be out on the display, isn't he?
I like that they gave him some new options with the accessories, because let's face it, Monkeywrench really had no personality. He was just kind of there.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he quickly assumed the position of background Dreadnought, but
yeah.
Well, they made him the explosives guy, and that's a tougher one to pull off on a cartoon show, especially. But then he had the harpoon gun, so it wasn't a particularly distinctive trademark weapon there either. Like you had to know something about Monkeywrench to really get into Monkeywrench back in the day. So at least I'm glad they gave him some more stuff to work with. He's not particularly explosive geared here. He's still just got the grenades going across his bandolier, but again, at least you got some options. I think he looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
that crazy face mask thing with the 3D glasses. Sure, that's how he goes to the drive-in.
Right. Firefly asks, are those axes supposed to replace the Dreadnought battle axe? And I would say it's a nice nod, but nothing can truly replace the Dreadnought battle axe.
No.
And as Joe ARAH says, you need them to complete your knocks, and absolutely we do. You can't not do Monkeywrench. By the same token, you can't not do Flash, and they're finding a way to not do Flash to this point.
He's the savior of the universe.
Craig Cohan says he should come with a spider to run away with. I don't like spiders. But Bart asks, why does he need 3D goggles? And the answer to that is he doesn't. It's optional.
Well, clearly it's so he can watch Dr. Tongue's 3D House of Pancakes. Yes.
He has a depth perception issue. This is
would you like some
lenses.
Syrup?
3D House of Cats. 3D House of Stewardesses.
He's a big fan of Muppet Vision.
Killer monkeys from West Mifflin, Pennsylvania. Jeffrey Stalemate Ball says that the resident leaker over on his tank has said that Flash is coming for what it's worth. Look, they've already made Flash's helmet. They've already made Flash's backpack and rifle. We know Flash is coming. I'm just an impatient bastard. I want him now. You hear that? The now went up an octave. That's how bad it is. That's how bad it is. Hank Perry asks, so Monkeywrench is the Dreadnought's version of Firefly? I mean, kind of.
Not as subtle.
Yeah, Firefly is a bit sneakier about things. There's a difference between a saboteur and an explosives expert.
Frankly, I think Monkeywrench has too many fingers to be the explosives expert, but
right. Get the old Jason Pierre-Paul treatment going. Get gunked up on one hand, but where's a special glove, and it's okay.
It fills it out. That's why he's wearing the gloves.
So he's got the glove on.
Yeah, it's just varying nubs underneath.
Right. One of those figures is a prosthetic. That's
one or more.
One or more.
He actually had 6 fingers, but one of them did get blown off, sparing him the wrath of Inigo Montoya.
So everybody's in on Monkeywrench, correct?
Oh yeah.
Ragtime Rob?
Yes.
All right. When I throw out an everybody answer, I'm kind of hoping you say something there.
I was swallowing water. Sorry.
Oh well. Let me know next time. That way I can throw the news bump in there to cover you. Did you get some water?
I'm good.
All right. Good. Oh Lord. And as far as regular release figures goes on yesterday's pre-orders, number 4 was Hockey Snake Eyes, who I was kind of halfway on. Truthfully, I think it's pretty well done for what it is. But at the end of the day, I had to look at myself and say, hey, guy with limited space, is that ever going to be the Snake Eyes that you display on your shelf? And in my heart of hearts, I had to look at it and say, no, it's not. I have a feeling he won't be hard to find later if I change my mind. But again, regular release, those 4 figures are available wherever you can find G.I. Joe. So Amazon, Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, Target, Walmart, etc. You know, those last 2 are purely theoretical, but it does happen occasionally.
Yeah, in theory, yeah.
And of course, Hasbro Pulse. Phil Donnelly, this is your first Snake Eyes, I believe, isn't it?
No.
Okay.
But it is one I am getting because he does have the blue stripes on his pants. I double checked.
All right. And you
Can't
were
forget
double
the
checking
details.
that for who?
For me.
All right.
Because I mentioned last time because he had the stripes, and I had the Hall of Fame figure as a kid with the stripes. He needed the stripes.
I remembered it came up, but I didn't remember who was particular about him. Because Mark wasn't around, so Phil and I were trading instant messages this week, and he got persnickety about something that was in one of the photos.
I did, yes.
And I, which is fine, but I completely ignored what he told me, and I just sent back to him. It's like, look, Mark may not be on the show right now, but that doesn't mean his job as honcho is up for grabs. And so
wasn't trying to replace him.
Right, sure, whatever. Josiah Alcorn asking again, how bad you got to feel for the poor kids who are 6 or 7 years younger than us who claim this is their version of Snake Eyes. Ragtime Rob, you're our resident Snake Eyes expert.
Yes.
How answer that question?
Look, there's a little bit of I mean, ultimately, if this Snake Eyes were first, I'd probably think it was pretty cool. There were 3 cooler versions of Snake Eyes that came before him. There were 2 cooler versions, which were the 2 I got. So so to me, those are my Snake Eyes. So I don't begrudge anybody for liking this Snake Eyes. I look at it as I don't like every suit of armor Iron Man wore either. So I don't buy that Iron Man figure when I see it. So it's kind of what I did with the Snake Eyes. I went with my classic. I stick with my classics.
Yeah, Doug Dello says that he does think there's a big fan base for the Snake Eyes. I agree.
I think so. Yeah.
There absolutely is, and we're not here to disparage them at all.
No,
we're mostly commenting on how we are all decrepit and ancient.
Yes,
and so we were all too old when this Snake Eyes came along. But there are lots of folks who are just a little bit further down the road, or less far down the road, to where this is their Snake Eyes. This guy was a big part of the line. He was a big part of the marketing and the merchandising for the time that he was on the shelves. So if anybody is still there from that very late 80s, early 90s patch, this is Snake Eyes. I mean, if you had the Hall of Fame figure like Phil, this is Snake Eyes.
I would also like to point out, I kind of zoned out of G.I. Joe in 90 and 91. So
what's wrong with you?
it was 92 that really got back in, and that's when I got my Hall of Fame Snake Eyes. But that means my first 3 3/4 inch Snake Eyes, Ninja Force.
Yeah, that's enough of that.
I'm
All
just
right,
saying
Now,
it'll be
those are the
it could
ones
be worse.
Those are the ones I really pity.
Right, they're the ones I feel bad for.
I'm just saying. You think the blue shirt's bad? It's not.
Joe
No.
H with Ragtime Rob pops in monocle.
Got me going full clink.
Jeffrey Staleman Paul says the 3.0 version that came out a little while back is pretty good. Yeah, it was. That was a good figure.
Yeah. And this is decidedly less orange, you know. So
I think it needs more orange, more.
big orange sword. Where is it?
But no, this is a perfectly acceptable Snake Eyes. It would, in my world, it would work better as a perfectly acceptable somebody else because Snake Eyes is already taken. But there's a comment. Joe ARAH again. I'll say it. This is the disco of Snake Eyes. A generation loves it, but everyone else doesn't get it. Well,
yeah,
fair enough. I would say that most Snake Eyeses are that Snake Eyes. So our disco Snake Eyes. But,
Especially disco Snake Eyes from 2000.
We salute you, hockey Snake Eyes. But you went 1 for 3 on what's on Joe Mind. Because Phil is young.
Ish.
And then also, last but certainly not least, yesterday we were made available the Cobra Claw and Pilot. Apologies on the small pictures, but it's no different than the photos you've seen everywhere else over the last couple of days. This was a Pulse exclusive, clocking in at $54.99, and you can see on the screen there we've got the red "Good Luck" underneath it. Because it is sold out. It's been kind of up and down for the last 36 hours. Some folks were lucky enough to grab one today. I don't know if it's still available. Typical Hasbro Pulse weirdness on Pulse exclusives.
And it may even come back in stock when it starts shipping. Who knows?
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe, or it'll pop up on Entertainment Earth for $10 less, or I don't know. I don't know. Cooter's Garage reminiscing on Deke. In 4th grade, we were doing an anti-drug week, and I had recorded the episodes with DEF, so we got to sit and watch G.I. Joe in class, and everyone said that was the highlight of the week. Yeah. Yeah.
Because you weren't doing math.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Look, I am not a drug user, okay? I am not a recreational drug user. I've never have been, and I probably never will be. But that doesn't mean that I liked sitting there during all those dare weeks and things like that when you had, law enforcement people telling you ad nauseum for 5 solid days, hey, you shouldn't do this. I already know I shouldn't do this. Can I go now? So, yeah, I imagine watching DEF G.I. Joe cartoons that would be the highlight of the week.
I'm at least of the age where, they would give you the promo New Teen Titans comics. So
when I was rolling through, it was hockey cards.
You guys
that was
got
pretty
stuff.
Right. That was pretty cool because the Islanders were in the process of, winning 4 Stanley Cups in a row. So Islanders hockey cards. Good times. Mike Bossy forever.
I think I got a participation award.
Phil's childhood sucked. And look, Mike Bossy is one of the greatest hockey players that nobody talks about. Go look it up. His stats stack up with anybody. Go look it up. I'll wait. I'm not going to wait. But Ragtime Rob, your thoughts on the Cobra Claw and Pilot? And how many did you buy?
Well, I bought one, so we'll get that out of the way. And I like this a lot, which is why I bought one. I really love the black trim and accents on this thing. I think it makes it really pop from the original version. So it's a good upgrade.
Phil, what do you think?
It's a claw. It's scaled to 6-inch figures. It's what you want. I mean, yeah, I got one, but I am still wondering when we're ever going to get that Viper Pilot figure, if ever. But hey, I don't mind what they did with this one.
I wouldn't hold my breath on a Viper Pilot, Phil.
Yeah, look, this thing blows the Viper all the way. You know,
This would have been a perfect opportunity to stick one in there. I'm just saying.
I like that they beefed it up. This is more than just a 6-inch scale claw. Like it seems like it's bigger than the claw is in relation to the 3 3/4 guys. Similarly,
it looks more like the cartoon dimensions, where you got that beginning of Revenge of Cobra, and you see just kind of Cobra Commander standing there, and the claws kind of dwarfing around him.
Right. It's very large. It looks like this would be difficult to just stand there with.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I always felt that was the problem with the old 3 3/4 one. It either needed to be a little bit bigger, like this, or it needed to be a little bit smaller, like a jetpack. But where it was just kind of, I don't know. It just didn't seem like it worked. It seemed like it was too small to do any damage, and too big to be truly stealthy. So I liked when in 25th anniversary, when they made the claw kind of small. I liked that. And I like it again here that they made it kind of big. Draws Walker says the vintage one seemed fragile and too small. You know, it's not fragile. I've picked up a couple of them in adulthood. They're actually pretty sturdy. There's moving parts and things, so it always, like, it feels kind of wiggly, but I've never had a problem with them falling apart.
I think the Cobra Jetpack feels fragile.
That Cobra Jetpack is a brick with a handlebar,
and yet all the handlebars come off.
It's just it's a jet engine that you strap on your back and die on.
It's sturdier than the Trouble Bubble was. You know.
Oh yeah, the Trouble Bubble that's a flaky.
That kind of feels like it's got like an explosion built into its play feature with that little tab you pull.
You just touch a button on the back and pops like popcorn.
Like, why else do you have the little front rounded pieces with the band going through it? Why is that there?
But you can see there, this one has it's got wing tips that fold up for storage or for landing. It's got that extra set of front landing gear, so you can actually land it like an aircraft. The turret on top moves. There's a lot of play features on this that we haven't had on the Claw in its previous incarnations. So I got in for one as well. What about you, Phil?
Yeah, I did get one. If there's a turret, though, don't let Henry Jones Sr. pilot it.
What's that now?
Don't let Indiana Jones' dad pilot it if there's a turret.
Bad news, son. They got us.
Good effort there, Phil. Good effort.
Yeah, I tried.
Good effort. Andrew Galgan was surprised that the suggested retail price is fairly reasonable. Yeah, it wasn't. $54.99 is not bad there.
That's a little better than I thought it was going to be. So yeah.
Yeah, I was expecting $10 more than that, especially after being a Pulse exclusive. I figured it'd be like the Trouble Bubble, but it turned out to be like the Python Trouble Bubble. Brian King notes that the Joes need more vehicles ASAP. Yes, they do.
He's not wrong.
Coastal Defender it is.
Right. There were all kinds of fun small vehicles for the Joes that are kind of getting ignored to this point.
RPV.
I know. Look, fine. Fine. If they can upgrade some of these small Cobra vehicles, then they can upgrade the RPV. Or the recon sled or things like that. Like there's
road toad.
Well, I mean, you can't improve on perfection is all I'm saying on the road toad. But yeah, there seems to be a dearth of small Joe vehicles. And I understand that part of these small vehicles is that you're including a figure with it to make the value work. And that's more difficult with the Joe's side because they tend not to have army builders. But I don't know. I don't know what to tell you guys. Maybe that's where having green shirts works into things. We may not be able to avoid it. They're coming on the card. Maybe they'll be coming in small vehicles too.
They got some variations of green shirts they could work with.
And so that was pre-orders this past Tuesday, yesterday. Feels like 5 days have passed since then. Because that's what work did to us this week.
You forgot your taxes again, didn't you?
No, I my returns are spent already, so they're gone. Yeah, it's no taxes. Feel like in order to worry about getting your tax refund, you have to make money first, and I don't do any of that. So, anyways, any last thoughts?
Not a one.
Yeah, we're good.
Next news item.
Hey,
it's a foregone conclusion. They actually funded a long time ago. But if you were trying to get in on the Kickstarter for the Toy Collector's Wishbook Special Edition G.I. Joe, it's too late. You missed it. They funded. Congratulations to everybody involved there, including our friend Carson. This will be a fun book. Racktime Rob, you got in on this, correct?
No, I didn't.
I thought you said you were. Oh, my bad. Didn't mean to throw that one at you.
Yeah.
Bill, how about you, Sue?
I thought about it, but I just couldn't this time. But
I did 2 days ago finally back it, yes. At some point, I've got more guidebooks than I need on the G.I. Joe line, which is, probably 10 too many at this point, but, everybody needs a guidebook out there, so.
Right. Look, as far as guidebooks go, there's a lot of folks that slept on the Belomo books in their various times in printing, to where the one that was out just a few years ago is, 3 figures, which is a lot to spend on things like this. So if people want to, if people want to keep churning these things out as a means to cover that need, hey, I'm all for it.
Yeah. I mean, I actually have that last edition of the Belomo book, so it's just
right. Same. And that was a big part of my decision making on this. Unfortunately, I too am in a bit of a cash crunch. I had to turn it down, and I'll add this to the other Toy Collector's Wish books that I've been wanting to pick up and do so at some point in the future. But we're happy that we could help get the word out on this as much as we did. We're happy that it surpassed all of its stretch goals and funding goals and all that good stuff. And be sure if you back this one, make sure you're checking your email for updates, because as we know, the books, they happen a lot quicker than the action figures do if you're doing Kickstarters. So
this thing ended with $152,075.
Yeah, on a $40,000?
$40,000, yeah.
So it passed within the first week. It had its goal, so it was just a matter of checking the box for extra pages on stretch goals, and I think it hit all of those. Hey, Jeffrey Stalemate Ball says, I don't have any G.I. Joe books, so I got one. Perfect.
There you go.
Excellent.
There's always new people joining the hobby. Sometimes you just need to get the guide to get you going.
I have a feeling that Jeffrey is not new if he's watching our show. I've seen
sure,
our demographics.
But, just
our demographics do not scream new fan. That's all I'm saying.
What are you saying, Mike?
We're old is what I'm saying. We're old.
We make noises when we stand up.
Right. It's 14 years next week. We were never young, but now we are definitely old.
There's your slogan for your podcast.
We were never young. That was definitely... Woo!
What's on Joe mind? We were never young, but we were definitely old.
Welcome,
Doug Yellow
new fan.
says he just called us old. I did, and I didn't lie to you either.
He just called us. He just called us old.
Look, I've met Doug. I think he's older than me. He's in better shape than me, so it doesn't matter. But see, Jeffrey still has most of the little paper catalogs that came with stuff he got when he was a kid, if that counts. It does count, Jeffrey. You suck on that, somewhere.
Phil. I have those too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they were from before you were born, Phil.
Only one of them.
Jerk.
Only one of them.
Jeff Butler, what's on Joe mind? Gray hairs and growing pains edition. Oh, that's next week. That's next week. That's the anniversary show. That's next week.
There's a portrait of Mike that's just off camera that he dare not look at.
No. That's in the attic.
Oh,
It's shrouded in velvet.
Hey Rob, you want to know it's going to be a really good prank?
But I guess since this is a bit of Kickstarter news, I am obligated to throw this in here.
There you go.
There we go. I mean, mandatory.
Yes.
So congratulations to everybody over at the Toy Collector's Wishbook Special Edition G.I. Joe. Keep up the great work, and we'll at some point, man. I swear. I really want their other ones because they cover some really obscure stuff that there's no other books out on. So, anyways.
Yes, the Karate Kid.
Next news item.
Doop, 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 doop.
Oh, look, it's more Kickstarter. That's right. Announced this week, Command Files Volume 2. That's the project from our friends over at After Action Report. That is Josh Eggebein and Roger Taft. And this is Greg Augustin's project. And book 2 is happening. They will go live on Kickstarter around the 1st of May. I don't think they've got an exact date yet. I think they're waiting for Kickstarter to clear them.
I thought I saw in the email they were talking about the 5th.
When I talked to Roger this week,
Okay.
he said that was they have to just wait on Kickstarter to clear everything. So
sometime in May.
Right. The first week of May is what he gave me in private message. So that's what I'm gonna pass on to the viewer. That's our insider knowledge. Roger and Greg will be our guests on April 30th. That is 2 weeks from tonight.
Ooh.
So Phil, you're not needed that night.
Oh.
Unless something happens to Rob, at which point maybe. So stay available, is what I'm saying. Stay available, Phil. Stay available.
Look, the way my luck's been running, Phil doesn't need to really think too hard.
Yeah. Rob's just wandering out into traffic. Craig Cohan, speaking of old, he's out. Last day before spring break, finally tomorrow. Oh, my God. Thank you for always being entertaining and fun. I don't know who that's directed at. But thank you for joining us, Craig. We appreciate you. Good luck out there. And, hey, next week, when you're on vacation, that's the anniversary show.
Yeah.
So. Josiah Alcorn. You do lose some of the big, scary grandpa energy without Mark.
Oh, boy.
Quick, someone make a cutting remark about chest cuts.
Oh, my God. I'm going to hear about that one. Oh, yeah. So anyways, you can see I've got a screen cap of the project on Kickstarter. Their preview page is up now. You see where the arrow is pointing. You want to head over there and click that little bar that says notify me on launch. Of course, I took this screen cap before I clicked to notify me on launch. So don't come at me. Don't at me, bro. Make sure you head over, click that bar. It'll glow green if you're signed up for all of the good stuff to come from the folks at After Action Report. Remember, Roger and Greg will be with us on April 30th. Next news item. Happening this week.
Oh,
Our wonderful friends at Heavy Armor Toys. You look there, you can see the selections that will be available on Friday afternoon. The CB, the Sailor, and the Seal, oh my, will all be on their website at hatoys.ecrater.com. Flight Crew is coming. They will be available at some point in the near future, but not just yet. So right out of the gate, these are in stock at the Heavy Armor Warehouse, waiting for you to come buy them. The CB, the Sailor, and the Seal, they do... too far. Double clicks. Anyways, they do have accessories. You can see the CB's got head options. He's got an M16. The Sailor also has an M16. Several different colored heads and hands. There are different rankings on the sleeves. So there's 4 or 5 different Sailor options for you when you head over to hatoys.ecrater.com. And then there's the Seal. He's got his AR-15. Everybody comes with a battle stand. Yeah, so head over, check them out. We just got ours in from their Kickstarter last week. They're really high quality stuff. They feel nice. These are great backdrop guys for your G.I. Joe collection, great support staff. Or if you just want to fill out the ranks, these are a great way to do it and not spend a ton of cash. Very affordable from Heavy Armor Toys. Jake Rose chiming in with these exceeded all expectations. I have to agree, man. I figured they were going to be pretty good. Josh has been at this for a little bit, but yeah, he cleared the bar that I had for him, no question. So, Phil, you got any of these?
I don't, actually.
So,
I'll have to look
where are
into
you going to visit on Friday?
Heavy Armor Toys, hatoys.ecrater.com.
That's right, Phil. Way to play along. only been sub-hosting for like 2 years now. You finally picked up a queue. Racktime Rob, you order any of these?
I would order more CBs if they looked like Fred Mertz.
Too obscure, Rob. Too obscure.
Everyone go out and find the old John Wayne movie, The Fighting CBs.
Yeah, The Fighting CBs, the old John Wayne movie where
William
Frawley
takes on the Japanese.
That's right, Fred Mertz from I Love Lucy. Looking exactly like Fred. He's not like a young version of Fred Mertz. He's Fred Mertz.
It's Fred freaking Mertz.
Short and doughy and just falling out of his sleeveless t-shirt with an M1 Garand fighting the Japanese in the Pacific. It's hilarious. But anyways, these guys don't look anything like him. These look like a real CB.
Yeah.
Racktime Rob, did you pick up any of these on the Kickstarter?
No.
Where are you going to visit?
Well, probably Heavy Armor Toys at ecrater.com.
No, it's hatoys.ecrater.com.
Not so easy, huh?
I mean, point Phil. Maybe you are on the anniversary show, Phil. Maybe it's Rob who sits at home. Firefly says, put in your order, just don't fall in the E-crater. It's dangerous terrain down there.
You don't tell me what to do.
You don't know what's down in those craters, man.
Damn E-craters. Bart, it's the What's on Joe Mind push. I mean, kinda. These are on the market. These are in hand. These are ready to ship to you. I encourage all of you to head over to hatoys.ecrater.com. Doug Dello asking, isn't Rob at home right now? He is, but there's a difference in being at home and being on the bench. It's on the bench.
Being on the bench, you'd just be taking a nap.
Right?
Yeah,
He'd be going to bed and being healthy.
Yeah, that would punish me, wouldn't it?
You fool, you've fallen right into his trap.
You showed me.
Joe ARAH, I feel like Mike is going to start hitting the eject button. It could be anyone that displeases him tonight. The tension is palpable.
He could go really rogue and eject himself. You'll never know.
Yeah.
I like that we have dramatic fans tuning in week after week. I love it.
The tension is palpable.
Junior scriptwriters of America in the live chat tonight. So tell us how many you're going to order from hatoys.ecrater.com in the big boy comments down below. Weird, it's we missed last week. We didn't do a show. And nothing was wrong. We were very busy last week. We had to deal with adult stuff. So it didn't make any sense to just try and clatter together 2 hours of programming. It would have been bad. But as with every week that we miss, our subscriber count went up. So we had more comments get written on our videos last week than we do most weeks when we do a live show. So if you guys want us to keep doing a weekly program, you're sending some really mixed signals.
That being said, see you in August. No.
Really mixed signals.
This is now a quarterly show.
Look, I've booked up the next 2 weeks. We got to go weekly 2 more weeks. And then
see you in August for our 50,000 subscribers special.
Right. And then summer break.
Woo!
Woohoo! We'll all be filming videos on Disneyland rides like Phil.
Hey,
cool.
Now who has the last laugh?
I've never been to Disneyland.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm kind of afraid to go to California at this point because I might not come back.
Yeah.
I'll show you around some spots. You might not have heard, but we have a pretty good burrito place around here.
Oh. Right, there you go. See, Torpedo Mike, Disney Share. There you go. Thank you, Phil. Next news item. Hey, we got some comic stuff coming up.
Ooh.
If you were at your local comic shop like Racktime Rob was today, you picked up Special Missions or Silent Missions Spirit from Skybound Publishing. Writing and pencils by Leonardo Romero. Inks by Matthias Lopez and colors by Chris Peter. Again, that is available today. Not to get spoilery, because I know that they're pretty new and folks are lazy about reading their books, but we've got two silent issues in the tank. Racktime Rob, our comic book expert. What are your general impressions so far?
We have 3 in the tank now.
Yeah, 21 doesn't count, Rob. You've had 40 years to react.
No,
to that. I don't care.
There was Beachhead, Jinx, and Spirit.
Right, but I'm like nobody's read Spirit yet, so I'm not concerned about that. I want your general impressions from Beachhead and Jinx.
Oh, okay. They're fine. You know what I would love? I thought I would love like a little on the inside cover, just like a little setup. But other than that, a little intro into the story, like how did we get here? But then again, issue 21 didn't give us that either. So
right, but issue 21 did have 20 conjoined issues that preceded it.
Yeah.
Torpedo Mike is asking if it's a silent issue, how much writing are you doing? Quite a bit. It's more storyboarding, but it's definitely writing.
There are some comic book writers who will literally write out panel by panel what's supposed to happen.
Right. I mean, Larry Hama does that with books that have dialogue, so I can't imagine. Can't imagine that happened any less on issue 21. Phil, have you actually bothered to read these yet, or are they just joining your giant pile of unread books?
I haven't made it to my comic book store in a few weeks.
So, oh my god!
They're in the bin. They're waiting for me to pick up. My work,
my god, Phil!
My comic book store and my house kind of form an equilateral triangle. It's not convenient.
Oh,
Philip.
Oh, Phil.
Whatever will you do?
Andrew Garrison notes that no one is going to, quote, read Spirit.
Well, aren't we being subtle now?
Aren't we pedantic? As I tag Garrison, one of our oldest friends in the hobby.
I know.
15 years we've known Andrew Garrison, thereabouts. And here I am calling him out publicly for the world to see. Dave McDonald asks, will Mike be voicing the audiobook version of these comics? Probably. As you remember, I was Sunbow's voice of Snake Eyes. Jake Rose notes, there are comic book stores near Disneyland, Phil.
You should. I hope that the audiobook versions of these go like the audiobook version of Madonna's photo book, like on Saturday Night Live.
I mean, define near Disneyland, and you might be talking about my comic book store, but
they are surrounded by a giant parking lot, right?
Right. I mean, Phil, maybe you need to withdraw yourself from your posh surroundings once in a while and get in where the people do their reading.
The library?
I don't know. I'm grasping at straws here, Phil. I'm trying to make you seem far wealthier than you actually are.
Yeah. Must be in touch with the little people.
All right, Andrew Galgan with a legitimate question. Now I'm wondering, if they ever do a silent issue for a Cobra character, whom might that be? Racktime Rob, who would you want to see in a silent Cobra issue?
Zartan.
That would be a good one. I don't know. So I feel like so much of his to do is his ability to completely immerse himself, like as a character. That I think he wouldn't necessarily be my pick. How about you, Phil?
Zartan is the one that came to mind when I read that question, but now I'm kind of imagining, in the vein of an old What the comic from Marvel, if it's a silent issue with Road Pig, and by the end of the story, he's just struggling, trying to get out dialogue, but fighting against it.
Okay. I'm not saying that it couldn't work. It's just you'd be towing a line on that one. You better make sure you got a really good writer for that one.
Yeah, well, I am not a published writer, so that's not.
For me, it would be Firefly. I'd want to see the Cobra Saboteur doing Cobra Saboteur things, and I think that lends itself best to.
Actually, Xandar would probably work really well.
Oh yeah, Xandar is a good pick, but he's got lightning tattoos on his chest, and so I'm out. That's just too weird.
He covers them with a vest now.
But, two-time All-Pro Steve Young says Cobra silent issue would be a broken bat. White Vegeta says his vote would be for a Firefly story. Andrew Galgan, good on Zartan and Firefly. Doug Dello says Firefly, of course, till the last page when there would be a large explosion. That doesn't count as dialogue. There's explosions all over that Beachhead book. Gunplay abounds.
Explosions.
That's kind of my impression of them so far. Is that they don't necessarily work as silenced. Like in both cases, in both the Beachhead and the Jinx story, I feel like they would be better with dialogue. And I don't get that. Like, I never got that impression when I was reading Silent Interlude in number 21. Like, that's a story that works without it. But especially the Beachhead story, I just felt like it was a normal story where they just took out the word balloons and
Well, plus the fact that 21, the novelty, of course, was that the main character was a mute, right? It was a character who could not speak. So
right.
Was it Yearbook 3 I'm thinking of, where the story was all sound effects? I kind of wish we got more references to that. Yearbook
3 was another silent issue. I think 84 was the sound effect one, where Zartan's trying to take out Storm Shadow because he's worried that he's just going to pick him up for killing the Hardmaster.
Right.
Yeah. Like 83 or 84, I think.
So that's anyways, that's my general impression of them to this point. They feel like they're a nice artist showcase for both, like Phil Hestard was the writer and penciler on both on the Beachhead story. Danny was both for the Jinx story. This is Leonardo Romero for both on the, obviously they're giving prolific work to prolific creators, and that's the ultimate end game here. But I don't know. Maybe I think it's more my own issue because I was expecting more, and instead they just kind of came in like normal issues. I don't know. They're solid work though. Like they're B issues. I was just kind of hoping for A's.
Can't win them all.
Yeah. Jeff Butler says the SFX issue is 87, and he loved it as a kid. Still does. So there you go.
I kind of wish that got more referenced too, because that's still pretty unique in its gimmick, if you will. But
And then continuing on, Jeff Butler, Yearbook 3 has a silent story called Hush Job in the Cobra Consulate building in New York.
Yeah. It's where they rescue Snake Eyes from being down in the jungle.
Right. That one I remember. Moving forward with Skybound Books, G.I. Joe 6 also was today.
No.
I just typed the date, didn't mistype the date?
Yeah.
Or is that next week?
I think it should be next week.
All right.
Fake news.
So, again, G.I. Joe 6, the end of the hard-hitting first arc of the Energon Universe story, will be in your grubby little mitts next Wednesday. Same creative team has been going on. Joshua Williamson, Tom Riley, Jordy Blair, doing a bang-up job in the Energon Universe.
All right. I just double-checked it. The silent issue was actually 85. The SFX issue.
All right. So nobody was right.
Yeah. We were all in the right area.
Everybody's a jerk.
Yep.
Especially Phil.
Sure.
Oh. But anyways, this is gonna be fun. I think we don't have any option for this one because the build to it has been pretty fun. So unless that cover is totally lying to us, and
there wasn't any fire at all.
Yeah, Duke and Cobra Commander aren't gonna fight. They're gonna sit down and have a Shasta together. Like that would be a bit of a letdown. So I don't
settle
think
things with a game of Connect 4.
Right. I don't think that's gonna happen.
It's a thrilling, tense 22-page game of
all right.
shoots and ladders.
According to the ads, in the 16th was supposed to be the day for G.I. Joe 6, but I mean it wasn't on the list of books that even came in, on to my local shop. So
Blade.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm sure there's any number of reasons. We'll get an explanation when nobody has this book tomorrow.
Yeah.
So They'll get it out some point soon. So I'm
Yeah.
not crazy. This was on the list for today.
Yeah.
It just didn't happen. Okay.
Yeah, but
So-
like I said, I didn't even look at it because when I checked Monday, for what was coming in this week, the only G.I. Joe book listed was The Spirit.
So check for it next week.
Yeah. These
Ignore
things are
that part
subject
that
to change.
says ignore that part that says available April 16th. That is not the date you're looking for.
Available April.
Figure probably next week. And speaking of next week, we roll on Silent Issue Month as G.I. Joe Silent Missions Roadblock hits the stand. This is written and penciled by Andrew Cranky with colors by Francesco Segala, the venerable Francesco Segala. That is next week's offering in Silent Mission Month. And it's hard to think of Roadblock firing that big old hog on the cover and anything being silent, but there you go.
It's actually a Nerf gun.
Right. Just darts everywhere. All the older brothers in Cobra are just, hey, cut it out. Hey.
Darn it.
Don't make me come over there.
Mom.
Jimmy's bugging me. Common crowd. Common call in our house.
Marvin.
Is that your brother, Phil? Marvin?
No, that's Roadblock.
All right. Whatever you say, Phil.
Marvin F. Hinton.
I mean, you're right. I'm thinking that you're covering for your brother Marvin.
Phil's long lost brother Marvin.
You do have a brother, though, don't you, Phil?
I do, yes.
Is he younger than you or older than you?
Older.
All right, so you were the one annoying him. Is basically how that goes.
That's how he spun it. Mom didn't buy it.
They never do.
At least.
Unless your older brother is Rob, in which case he never left his room or moved, so they knew he didn't do anything.
So I kept my nose clean.
I got blamed for a lot in our house. A lot.
It's because you did it.
No, very often I did not. I tended to own up for it when it happened, but there were many times when it was like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Revisionist history. No.
Stop yelling at me. I don't know what you're talking about. That's the true mark of the Gen X child. Anyways, Andrew Cronky writing in pencils on Silent Missions Roadblock. That is next week with G.I. Joe number 6, we hope. Fingers crossed. Josiah Alcorn asking, did Roadblock have a name for his gun? Not one that I ever caught. I think the only named gun was Gung Ho on the Sunbow cartoons. He had Baby. Phil, did anybody name their gun in any of the G.I. Joe comics released in Japan?
If they did, I wouldn't know. I haven't gotten that far in the translations.
Useless. And then we've got some Skybound bits. Coming up on the end of the month, we've got Silent Missions Duke. And then the Transformers Deluxe hardcover, collecting the first few issues of the Energon Universe series. And then Void Rivals 18. Void Rivals 8. Somehow Void Rivals started before Transformers and has fallen behind it in numbering. But it is a book written by Robert Kirkman, so that's to be expected.
It fell into the void.
It's rivaling the Void.
I think at the end of each 6-issue arc, they've taken a month off. So,
I don't know. Whatever. Whatever.
Hmm.
wanted to put a spot in there where I can play the crickets. I don't get to use my sound effects very often.
Yeah, cricket.
And most of the time when we do these, last several months, it's or the Bend, Oregon music. I feel obligated to play those because Paul Sidaway put that together originally. That's actually him playing those horns.
I thought they were whoopee cushions.
That's people working for us.
That's right.
People working for us for free. You got to play that once in a while.
Now back to what's on your mind?
Yeah. Torpedo Mike's kid. Next news item. We got some sales going on in the swag shop. Ignore those dates. Those dates are wrong. I forgot to change those dates. The correct dates coming up are for next week. Swag's going to be on sale April 23rd to the 27th. I mean, April 3rd through the 6th is correct. They were on sale during that time. But unless you are privy to the DeLorean time machine technology, like Patrick Stewart's brother, and I think we talked about that pre-show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I don't remember anymore. I don't know. So be ready next week. If you want to buy a T-shirt, do it next week. We'll have the anniversary show, so it'll be a good excuse to buy a new What's on Joe Mind shirt in honor of the anniversary. That just in time for the summer convention season, so you can represent at all of your G.I. Joe and toy shows everywhere. If you see somebody in a Pixel Dan shirt, you fight them.
What if it's Pixel Dan?
He will kill you.
Just making it clear.
Pixel Dan's a pro wrestler. He is no joke. He will clobber you. You run up, you step on Pixel Dan, it's a DDT for you. You're finished.
Supposed to be picking your fights.
First table he sees.
Right. You don't mess with Pixel Dan proper. Just his fans. Don't mess with his fans either. They're lovely people. Try and get them to buy What's on Joe Mind shirts, because there's a lot of them.
They got warehouses of the stuff.
Oh, it's all made
move product.
That's why we got TeePublic, man. It's all made to order. Don't panic, Phil. Don't panic. We will never send boxes upon boxes of overstock to your apartment again. They don't exist.
They know where I live.
Phil was having a legitimate Krusty the Clown freak out here.
Right. I mean, shit, Phil.
I thought the generals were due.
Bart is asking, Pixel Dan hugs? Just ask first. Yeah, I'm sure he's down. He's part of the Springfield, Illinois Mafia. I'm sure he's down. Next news item. Remember, that's April 23rd to the 27th. Be sure to, we saw some posts this week from G.I. Joe artist Jamie Sullivan. He's updating us on the condition of his foot. They are very close to being able to do something surgically with his foot. That's excellent. But the GoFundMe is kind of stalled out. So make sure you are visiting that again. If you got even just $1 or $2, be sure to visit the GoFundMe and send that Jamie's way. We are trying to save the man's leg here. The link is below. They get the whole story from him and his wife on the GoFundMe page. So be sure to check that out as we are throwing our tax dollars at G.I. Joe Classified. Hey, maybe save a couple 5 of them for this fella here who's done a lot for our community. Again, link is down below in the comments. While you're there, leave a comment.
Ooh.
Next news item. Hey, a lot of leaks have been leaking out these last couple of weeks too, and we always have one stop when we are looking at advanced pictures, and that's the surveillance port. You can check them out over at surveillance-port.com. It's anytime you want to see pre-production photos, if they're out there, Eric's got them posted, and he's on there every day, sometimes a couple times a day. So with everything that's coming out of factories early, I mean, shoot, with all this tariff stuff going on, pictures out of factories might be all we get to see out of factories. Anyways, head over to surveillance-port.com. That's right, it's the surveillance port. Surveillance-port.com. Joe ARAH says, I don't know what was worse, explaining to my wife what WOJM swag was, and it wasn't some militia, or her utter horror is running even deeper. You might have, in terms of spending money, you might have been better off with the militia. At least then they're afraid to ask, right?
You have to word it as it's a T-shirt to identify fellow cats in cardboard construction enthusiasts.
Jeff Butler with the question, leaks, you say, can we depend on surveillance port? Why, yes, you can. And if your problem is leakage, be sure to check out Depends. That's right. Long-lasting dryness in Depends. Available small, medium, large, extra large, and for the husky gentleman, the double. Got some juice loose in your caboose? Get some Depends on those ends. That's right, Depends.
They better send you a case for free for all that.
Yeah.
Proud sponsors of
It's going
Surveillance.
to be delivered by that guy.
Look, man,
In that outfit.
he looks thrilled. Okay, thrilled. Absolutely thrilled. Look, man, we have a live chatter, a fan, if you will, a friend of the program, setting us up for running gags. I'm going to take that as often as I see it. Okay?
I'm not saying, yeah. I'm just saying, the way my luck's running, yeah, we're going to get Depends delivered by that guy.
When it's that artfully done. I mean, this is recognizing game, okay? Just settle it down. Just settle down. If that guy comes and he is delivering our Depends, then that's fine. We got the driest, happiest guy in the neighborhood. Maybe not the best smelling.
Is thrilled.
Maybe not the best smelling. But the driest, happiest guy in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Firefly, thanks for playing. You've been a real pantload. I don't even know what that's about, but sure.
All right.
It's in quotes. It looks great. Oh my God. Anyways. Doug Delos posing the question. He got paid for that, so I imagine he'll survive, right? Look, that's one of those things where unless he is in the Walmart or the Target or the Walgreens or whatever, standing next to the display of Depends, nobody knows he did that.
And
nobody remembers his face and attaches it to that in there. I mean, maybe some folks at the rest home do.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Oh, that's Billy.
That's a good paying gig right there. That's national
He's a
advertising.
Model.
Jake Rose, just because it's almost swimming pool season, get yours now.
Make sure you get the waterproof ones.
Oh no. No. Anyways. Next news item. That brings us to the end. We're wrapping it up there by reminding you that Chunky Tank Kitty and his Mauler tank are brought to you proudly by the G.I. Joe 3D Printing Podcast. Tune in to see Mike and Mark and Archwan, most every Sunday, they've got some kind of goodness going on with their 3D printing, concocting projects that I couldn't dream of getting started because I don't know, man. I got no head for the technical stuff.
He's got no dreams, man.
I can make a mean barbecue, but I can't design stuff on the 3D printer. But yeah, so be sure to check them out. Their channel is linked up on our channel down below. If you check that out when we're done here tonight, it'll take you right to them. Anything and everything you wanted to know about G.I. Joe and how it connects with 3D printing and all that fun stuff. They're geniuses. They're too modest to say so, but they're geniuses. I mean, shit, Mark made a 2-seater shark for classified figures. You can't beat that. That guy's awesome. Mike did chunky 10 kitties that we handed out last year or that we sold for charity last year at Joe Fest. You can't beat that. Or no, it was chunky 10 kitties 2 years ago, and it was chicken nuggets last year.
Yeah.
We weren't there for chunky 10 kitties. I still have a few of those. Maybe we'll do something else with them later on. But anyways, yeah. White Vegeta is asking about Haya Zartan. I missed Haya Zartan. I'm sorry.
Hiya,
My
Zartan.
bad.
There's a Haya Zartan.
Haya. We'll get it next week. I promise.
Haya Zartan.
Lord knows that figure's not going to be in anybody's hands for over a year, so we'll be okay pushing that one off for next week. Thank you for making me aware of it, though. Monday and Tuesday are busy for me. It's sometimes if something breaks on Monday, Tuesday, I got nothing. That's the news. All right. Be right back with you. We're going to take a quick moment with our friends from Kokomo Toys.
We buy, sell, and trade vintage and modern toys. G.I. Joe, Star Wars, Transformers, Marvel, DC, and more. Located in beautiful downtown Kokomo, Indiana, we are open every Wednesday through Saturday from 12 to 5. It's a theme park of nostalgia. Join the thousands of people who have traveled from all over the Midwest for over a decade to buy and sell with us. Get your geek on.
And again, I apologize. I keep asking Todd if he's got new promos. And he's got new promos all the time. But they almost without fail use music that will get us demonetized. So I got to stick with the one that we got. Because we like the $2 we make on every episode.
Do you remember to report that?
That's paying for Phil's kids' college fund.
I have kids.
You have
No, so it's lucky that you don't be at the rate we're growing it. So yeah.
play a Phil.
One day, let's put it this way. One day we hope to be able to get you a churro at Disneyland.
It's going to take more than $2 a month.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it'll take.
That's why I said one day we hope.
7-8 months if we also roll in the Facebook money. Anyways, Jeffrey Stalemate Ball throwing in that he thinks Zartan is shipping according to Haya Social. But well, that's fine then. We'll announce when Haya reveals new figures, but we don't care about when they're shipping out. That's fine.
You get them when you get them.
Right? It's just, yeah. That's never been our bag. We like to ramble on the major news points. Sometimes the minor ones we gotta just let go.
All the news and we're damn good and ready.
Yeah, you ordered it, you paid for it. It would be news if it didn't show up. But the fact that it's showing up,
Now I'm reminded of a Walmart pre-order that they canceled.
Right. Yeah, Shipwreck was the last high reveal. I think we got Shipwreck in the last couple weeks ago.
Yeah. I remember talking about Shipwreck.
So, Phil, you came on and pre-show, mind you, not far pre-show because you were very late.
That was still early enough.
I mean, earlier than Mark you would generally show up. Yes, that's true. But and he'll probably, you know, get on me for that one too. Anyways, Phil, you were bragging about having stuff to show off and what we got in.
I do. Yes.
We got a couple of minutes. If you guys have any questions in the live chat, by all means, post them up there, and we will answer a few while Phil is doing his showing off.
All right. Well, over the weekend, Amazon finally put something on sale that I could justify buying. And
well.
It was a Super 7 Conan the Barbarian action figure in the Masters of the Universe style. So, if you know the history of the toy line, there's of the Masters of the Universe toy line, and then the history of Conan the Barbarian movie, this is actually very appropriate. So, don't you know the Dewey Decimal System?
How would you want to give the people the air?
You got Conan the Librarian.
That's right.
But ultimately, when Mattel was developing Masters of the Universe, they wanted to do a Conan line. Is that not correct?
It kind of came up, and then they were like, well, we're also doing this. We might as well get the Conan rights for safety or something. From what I have read, they were going to be using the big gym bodies for those figures and not actually the He-Man toy line. But, you know, it's all around the same time. It gets really messy with Mattel.
There was a lot going on, so it's I think it was a question of the timing didn't quite work out because Conan was with Remco for a while, and yeah.
Yeah, it was
that was
also
a few years.
rated
That was
R.
a few years after, in like '84, I think. Which those figures look terrible, but for some reason they're like consistently $200 figures, and it's like the only Remco toy line that has any value to it.
Just about.
Yeah, I think the thing that sank Mattel doing the Conan toy line, you know, initially was the fact it was a rated R and a hard
rated
R,
R,
you know,
with
so,
a lot of nudity, with a lot of violence. Yeah, that's like we got to back off.
Yeah.
This wasn't Kenner in the '90s. They weren't doing R-rated action figures.
The Conan toy line.
Yeah,
Rob, is that what you're saying? The Conan toy line?
Yeah.
That Andy Richter, he's got a potty mouth.
I mourn the loss of my Pimpbot 5000 action figures. So.
Here's a question for you, Phil. Jeff Butler wants to know, what's the oldest vintage Joe items you all don't have that you still want to get?
you know, a 12-inch Green Beret G.I. Joe would actually be pretty neat, I think.
Well, so you're going way back into vintage.
Hey, they said oldest. It's going, you know, we're going oldest. But if we're talking 3 3/4-inch line, probably a version A Starduster, just because I don't have a good Starduster, and mine's the last version. So, yeah, Starduster.
How about you, Ragtime Rob?
You know, I'm some of the stuff that I didn't get back in the day, I ended up getting back, you know, like a 25th anniversary or something like that. So that kind of scratched that itch. Because I was going to say, oh, gee, I don't know, maybe a Rattler, but instead, but then I got the 25th anniversary Rattler.
They're close enough, and then the 25th is sturdier.
Yeah, so
right. We were had enough of a pause there. I almost got the crickets back out.
Yeah, between you and me, back in the day, there was very few things we didn't.
Right. We managed to crisscross.
Yeah. Was the one thing, like the one maybe big thing we missed.
What's that now?
The Slugger was maybe the one big thing we missed.
That was the first thing I bought when I started collecting again. My first purchase on eBay was a complete Slugger with Thunder. And I paid $11.
90s eBay.
Oh my God, it was beautiful.
Good times.
So I felt like that was actually before the Toys R Us reissues happened in 97. It was fall of 1996.
So you're still in that era of you're doing eBay without pictures, 50-50 chance you actually get what you ordered. And
Right. There were many auctions that did not have images. I was smart enough to not ever buy one of those. So this did have, there were pictures of that slugger. But it was back in the fall of 96. I was living off campus at college, and I put that slugger on display immediately. And I'm just saying it was good that I already had a girlfriend going into that.
hey,
Everybody who saw the slugger on my shelf in my apartment was like, what is that all about? What are you doing with toys on the shelf? It's like, that's the fucking slugger. That's awesome.
why does it have wheels if it's a tank?
That's the G.I. Joe self-propelled cannon. That's artillery. That's not a tank.
That is mobile artillery, you bastards. Right. What else you got to show off there, Phil?
Well, I was running a little behind on this line, so I'm finally getting caught up on the G.I. Joe Chaos Theory stuff with the actual characters from the Netflix show. So I am weird in my Jurassic Park toy line buying in that I actually go for the ones that have figures, not just the dinosaurs on their own. I missed out on a lot of sauropods, but I have a decent collection of dinosaurs because of it.
I have Buff Newman.
Excellent.
I got Buff Newman.
How could you not?
Well, I mean, you pointed it out the week that Target put him on sale last year, so I was like, I'm buying Buff Newman.
You gotta have Buff Newman.
Buff Newman happens.
Astley.
I've been meaning to put him up somewhere in the Instagram feed, but he's actually still in the box. I got to fix that this week.
What you got to do is like break out a 25th beachhead and do a head swap.
Hello, Jerry.
What else you got there, Phil?
I got me a Maximum Spider-Man, which is good because I don't actually have a red and blue Marvel Legends Spider-Man. So, hey, why not get one that screams very 90s?
Right.
So we'll open this guy up later on and see if I feel ripped off or not, because he is expensive.
That was. What'd you say there, Rob?
I said they were $50, weren't they?
Yeah.
That was ultimately what kept me from jumping in there. Like,
yeah,
I was ready.
Yeah, me too.
I was ready to go 30, and then I saw the tag and 50. What? Get out of here! Something that they essentially put out before.
We'll see if it goes on sale later on, and if the last laugh is on me.
Yeah, I mean it's a new figure, so there's new construction in there. Wider range of, but
right, I get that, but but for something that's essentially has been done 3 or 4 times,
I have a couple nice looking Marvel Legends Spider-Mans. So
and boy, does that Peter head have some bags under his eyes.
Well, the old Parker
he has
luck.
seen some things.
The old Parker luck is a harrowing experience.
Right. He's had a tough go, man. He's had a tough go. I mean, he was married to Mary Jane Watson, for Christ's sake, and editors took it away from him.
Yeah.
That's a rough go. Anyways.
Still mad at that. 2 decades
and now she's
later.
Venom. Anyway.
Now she's Venom.
And that's all I got for me.
Joe ARH is asking, is there a character past or present that has a toy that really disappointed you, and why?
Ooh.
Are we talking G.I. Joe or anything?
I would say that the context of this is anything. So Joe's almost disqualified from that because you'd always see the figures before anything else. Like, that's how it was supposed to look.
Well, 2001 Zartan is a hell of a letdown. Especially when you were like me and not having a Zartan figure at the time with the cowl. Again, Ninja Force Zartan. I didn't even have him.
Ninja Force Zartan, man. Pixel Dan will fight you if he hears you badmouthing Ninja Force Zartan.
I love Ninja Force Zartan. You'll
notice
when I upgraded his page, he got all the love.
Yeah, it was very, very Cold Slither vibes off of that one. But
Marvel Legends Rogue, the original 2003 release. For one thing, she's got a hideous face sculpt. And for another, she was only available in a 5-pack with 4 other X-Men figures, all of which had been released individually, only slightly different. So to get her, you had to buy 4 figures again. And she was still terrible.
And you did it anyway, didn't you?
I did it anyway.
That's not speaking with your wallet, Phil.
Yeah. Figures were cheaper back then, man. It was $7.99 a pop for a Marvel Legends.
Wow. We are old. How about you, Ragtime Rob?
Let's see. If you got one, come back to me.
Oh, Jesus. You know, I don't know, because it's if I'm truly disappointed by something, I tend not to buy it.
Yeah.
Like if I've got it in my hand, there's nothing in me that says you're a completist or you have to have this, or like if I finally get something in hand and it's not up to snuff, I kind of let it go. Joe's are really the only thing I've ever bought online. I pretty well wait to see everything in hand for that reason. I'm really not so much a toy guy as I am just a G.I. Joe guy, right? And lately, Block East Transformers. Oh my God, the Block East Transformers. I'm sitting awash in a pile of loose hands right now.
They're dragging you in.
Oh. But yeah, like I think perhaps the most disappointed I've ever been in a toy was had to be the Falcon Glider.
Oh yeah,
right. I mean, that commercial was awesome. They're throwing that thing all over their yard. It's flying all over the place. You get the Falcon Glider in hand. You strap Grunt in. You got the little plastic harness on there. You let it go, and that thing goes 3 feet straight sideways. And it's like, well, we're taking Grunt off of there because I don't need him to break, because I'm not buying this thing twice.
Good thing you didn't throw the Viper pilot.
Right. That was the good sense that 8-year-old Mike had. It's like, oh no, you're coming off of there, pal. That's it. No, we're not doing that again. And yeah, so the Falcon Glider was definitely that was a big letdown. There was a lesson there. Whoa. Jeff Butler says that he's still disappointed that the Bob the Goon figure from Batman '89 can barely keep his leg from kicking up, and he looked old and not much like the actor Tracy Walter. Look, the likeness, okay, I'm with you, but our younger brother had that guy, and
he looks like Tracy Walter now.
I mean, he's dead now, but the leg kicking up was never a problem. So yeah. I think I have that figure somewhere.
Yeah, I think mine doesn't have that issue.
You got a bad goon.
I did have a Toy Biz Robin who broke his right at the knee, right under that joint. The plastic just sheared rough. So there were some quality control issues back then for sure.
You have an answer, Ragtime Rob, or just nothing coming to you?
Silver Mirage.
Ah. Yeah, that was a rattler, and I don't mean the plane. Just
it
all
looks
kinds
like
of
it does on the
there.
package, but a stiff breeze will send it sprawling across the
room. Parts flying all over the place.
I was like, all right, I'm done with this. Let me give me back the RAM. This is just
this is terrible. Does the sidecar fit on the RAM? Oh wait, it's broken too.
You just super glue it together and force it.
Yeah, like I said, the Silver Mirage never broke. It was too busy falling apart.
All those pegs were torn down.
Yeah, I mean, nothing stayed in where it was supposed to. It was just ridiculous. The wheel would fly off the sidecar. The sidecar would come off the bike. The handlebars would be coming off the bike. The headlights would fall off. Ugh.
And what was with that backpack thing?
That was the only thing that stayed on.
Well, yeah, because you put it on the figure.
Yeah.
It depends on which figure, though, because if you're doing a later one,
Yeah.
the late 80s, it's figure, it's not going to stay in.
Yeah.
Nobody liked those but you, Phil.
I am alone in my love for hit and run, sir. I think not.
Yeah.
So the other vehicles I got from that year held together much better.
Right. I mean, really, for the entire line,
Yeah.
held up much better.
I mean, it was. We were approaching Falcon Glider territory there. It was just.
Recon Sled is a letdown. That was one I got for Christmas, so you have to.
Well, the
act
Recon
like you
Sled.
liked it.
The Recon Sled. To be honest, though, the Recon Sled looks like a letdown.
Yeah, the Recon Sled was crummy, but it did meet expectations.
Yeah.
Like it looked crummy, and when you got it out of the package, it was pretty crummy.
Still crummy.
I actually wound up liking it a little bit better than it looks on the package, and it's mostly because it's like, well, at least Leatherneck doesn't have to walk.
It doesn't have to look up either.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Firefly says my Silver Mirage is holding it together just fine now, after all the plastic shrinkage of 40 years. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. It's funny, they redid the 25th anniversary did a Silver Mirage. It never got released as the Silver Mirage. But the club gave it, and that thing is pretty good. Like 25th anniversary got it right, and then we never got it on the shelves. I think it was supposed to come with Rock and Roll version 2. I think that was the. Anyways, I'd have to go back and check all my old notes, but yeah,
Did we
yeah.
get the Silver Mirage? I remember the club gave us Rock and Roll version 2. I don't remember.
Right. But that
was Z-Force or Z-Force.
Yeah,
version.
we got it.
Okay.
We got it as a Z-Force.
Okay.
Con exclusive. But I've actually picked up a couple of them in the years since, and they're great. No problems at all.
Yeah.
And but yeah, no, absolutely not like the originals. Ooh. Falcone says, wasn't there a late 90s release? Yes, Silver Mirage was there in
1997.
Yeah, it came with
the
Duke,
stickers
right?
are garbage, but I believe that thing held together better than the original 85 one.
It absolutely did.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Paper stickers.
Yeah. The stickers are trash, but
The artwork shows a figure that was never released in the toy line.
Yeah, that 97 line, there were some issues.
Just a few.
Well, they just grabbed the old artwork from the original box, right?
No, they actually painted in the roadblock to be the one that never came out because they ended up using those bodies for Rock and Roll and Breaker in the Stars and Stripes Forever set.
Oh.
It's bad.
It was a bit of a mess, right? Because they couldn't at the last minute they misplaced. What was it? It was Rock and Roll and Flash, or they figured out that they didn't have those molds. So then the Roadblock mold was forced into action, and Roadblock got axed, and yeah, it was bad. It was bad. The promo shots for that Stars and Stripes Forever set are incredible. And then when it came out, like that Stalker figure was great, and everything else stunk.
The Slugger is all right, but
the Slugger's fine, and I don't mind that gung ho. And the A10 is good. The Rattler, the Jeep with Viper is fine. Like the vehicles.
That's 98.
That's right. That was 98. But the vehicles tended to be okay, but those figures were rough in 97. The Duke that came with that bike is awful.
Oh,
awful.
And the flag that came with the Stars and Stripes Forever set has 56 stars.
Right. It's just presuming
56.
that. Yeah.
They just didn't paint 6 of them.
Yeah,
that was a whoopsie.
Well, they figured that
Greenland, Ontario,
Right. Puerto Rico, Guam, U.S. Virgin Islands, and probably Cuba. I don't know. They were trying to think ahead and trying to be positive.
Yeah.
It's interactive. You fill in the stars as we get new.
So I guess that would qualify as an answer to most disappointing. Stars and Stripes.
Stars and Stripes.
Set.
Yeah, although the Falcon Glider, I guess, yeah. I mean,
you know, it's bad when you couldn't even get the proper artwork for the file cards.
Yeah.
Rock and Rolls uses the whirlwind. He's not even facing the front. You just see the back.
Oh yeah, you're just looking at
with that terrible egg-shaped head. Yeah. Anyways, so we're coming up on the end here, so let's we'll call it here. Phil, shout him out, would you?
Shout out to Patrick Stewart, as always, my other half on the Articulated Points channel. We like to do deep dives into toy lines, mostly G.I. Joe, but sometimes we stray a little bit, even a little bit of Disney in there, because, you know, that's me. Should have a link below.
Right, absolutely.
We're supposed to have an episode coming out this month, because we try to do monthly. We're still kind of figuring that one out, but hey, we'll pull it out.
Last month's episode is all about the rebirth of O-rings, so you got to check that one out. It's all about G.I. Joe last month. And
the original. And if you want to see how that actually looked, instead of just, you know, the conceptual idea of it.
And it's an episode that does not have Phil, so you can trust it.
Hello, sir.
You forget yourself, sir.
If I had a glove in hand.
Oh, Patrick and Phil have forgotten more about G.I. Joe than I've ever known. And I know kind of a lot, so absolutely. If you want a deep dive kind of channel, Articulated Points is definitely where you want to go. Who else we shouting out, Phil?
And the rest of this fine audience today, except for except for Doug Dello.
Who is disappointed by your presence.
But moving on.
I mean, in proper context, you know, he was, you know, talking about how he couldn't make one of the shows, you know, coming up.
Yeah.
And that's what he was disappointed.
That's what he said.
Just lined up perfect. lined up about as well as, you know, the one email I got letting me know about some of the Broadway shows coming to town. And I
dun dun dun.
I get
incriminating text.
It's gonna be a Phil Donnelly night. I know. I'm so disappointed.
So yeah,
really.
There we go. Moving on.
Ragtime Rob, shout it out.
Well, shout out to Phil, because, you know, he needs our moral support right now.
Right, Phil's in crisis.
and to our studio audience. Thank you for tuning in.
That's it. That's all you got.
That's all I got.
I'll give a quick shout out to our wonderful friends and sponsors at Kokomo Toys. Real quickly, we'll do the theme song. Kokomo Toys. Kokomo Toys. Again, I reiterate, everybody, shout out to the live crowd. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a lot of you, a lot of Wednesdays. So we really do appreciate you guys cutting time out of your regular schedule to catch us live. If you are catching us on replay, we love you too. You count just as much. We love you just as long time. Be sure to however you're following us, be sure to do all that cool YouTube stuff. Click that like button for the video. Click that subscribe button for the channel. Do the same for Phil at Articulated Points. Give a special shout to Phil. Thank you so much for joining us. It's funny, we move one day later in the week to from Tuesday to Wednesday, and it's like Phil is never called on super short notice anymore. So if one person has benefited from the move from Tuesday to Wednesday, it's Phil Donnelly, the super.
There you go. Everything's coming out, Phil.
If you are one of our audio listeners, we love you too. Be sure to check us out at Podbean or wherever you get your podcasts, be that Apple or Spotify or what have you. We're pretty much everywhere. Lord knows, with 14 years of backlog, the audio channels, man, we are a force to be reckoned with. But we got a link to our Podbean site down below too, if that's more your jam. Take us with you in the car. We don't care. That's fine. Shout out to Racktime Rob. He's here every week. We never give him a shout out. Got through all of his stuff last week with flying colors, doctor's appointments and the like. So excellent work there. Glad you finally decided to take care of yourself in your 53rd year.
My dotage. 52nd.
Well, you're 52, but that means you're in your 53rd year. 52 is the anniversary, which means that you're starting your 53rd year.
Yeah, don't rush me.
Cooter's Garage says took 4 months to make it through the back catalog. God bless you, sir.
Wow, that's dedication.
Yeah, that's good. God, man, even I don't do that.
Or some form of mental illness. One of the two.
I mean, right. I was here for most of them, so
now do it again. They need the views.
Right. I showed up for the first time in episode 3 and then was sporadic for that first 6 months or so. So I lived through most of this. I experienced this trauma firsthand. I don't need to go listen to.
You're repressing the memories for a reason.
When we go to the vault for those flashback episodes, it's oftentimes the first times I'm hearing things in years. So all the old jokes are new again.
Hey.
But thank you to all of you. We appreciate it. As our friend Vagon likes to say, stay safe, and if you can't be careful, be sure to be back next week. We have a very special episode. It is our 14th anniversary Arbor Day Spectacular. So stay tuned. We will reveal more about that as the week goes on. And then, of course, on April 30th, Roger Taft and Greg Augustin will be back with us to talk about After Action Report Volume 2 there. I forgot what it's so late. Oh my god.
Command files.
Thank you. Command files. I'm so tired. It's a full day of work and then show prep, and then by the time we hit that 2-hour mark, I'm just as likely to fall asleep on the air as I am to get to the end of the show.
That's why we gave Rob the prod and stick.
Right.
Thrilling television.
Right. Rob's job is to run out of his room and just use one of those slapsticks like you get, in orchestra work, like in when they're doing sleigh ride, dun, 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 that's not actually a whip. It's 2 pieces of wood that slam together. We got one of those for Rob to come in and wake me up when I drift off at the end of an episode like I'm doing right now.
Get to hit him with it.
Right. It's totally against the point. Far too expensive to do that sort of thing, but the man's violent. He's a sociopath. There's only so much that he can be expected to. My
bloodlust cannot be sated.
No.
Why do you think I do this show from a separate state?
Right. From two or three time zones away.
2.
But again, I'm rambling through the exit, which is nothing new, and I know I've already said it, but as our friend Vagon likes to say, stay safe, and if you can't be careful, have a great rest of the week. Be sure to join us next week for a very special 14th anniversary edition of What's on Joe Mind. Tell your friends. We want a big crowd for this one. It'll be fun in the old live show for a change. We won't have some dog guest host like Phil. No, we'll have special guest hosts for the 14th anniversary.
Like Phil.
Tornado watch.
Have a great rest of the week, everybody. Stay safe and Yojo.